Hey guys, Eddie Wilson here, Think Realty Nation. Thank you for joining us on the podcast today. We've got a special guest for you today lined up. I know you'll enjoy it. And it's a new kind of venture for us, doing on-location podcast. We're here live at the Houston Think Realty Expo and Conference. And I've got my co-host, or maybe I'm the co-host. Maybe you're the host and I'm the co-host. I'm not really sure.
In which case, then
you're basically John Madden, I think, in this relationship. You're all color, I just get to be the, information.
I just get to draw circles around people's butts.
Yeah, exactly, perfect. So just draw while I speak a little bit. All right, so anyways, excited to join our guest here in a second, but before we get to that, we'll hit our sponsors.
AlphaFlow, check them out. AlphaFlow.com is a large tech-driven investment manager building to connect two of the largest industries on the planet, real estate, debt, and capital markets. If you're a private money lender interested in expanding your capital to do dynamic things in your regional markets, check out AlphaFlow.com. So today we have a really good friend. Her name's Ari. If you're not following her, you are failing at life. Like, I just feel like you've lost the game of life. She has an incredible
restart.
Yes, reboot. Yeah, I mean, yes, exactly. Power off and power back on. You have to check her out on Instagram and also TikTok. We were just talking about TikTok. She is crushing TikTok right now with a lot of her financial advice, financial videos on how you, the investor, can take your money game from here to ultimately winning it, especially during uncertain times. So, all right, welcome to the show.
Awesome. Well, thank you for having me, Eddie, Abby. And as far as the TikTok and financial advice goes, I'm normally pretty quiet and reserved, so I like talking to a camera on my own. And all of you can watch it whenever you want. So there you go.
Nobody else involved.
Yeah.
Right,
well, the good thing is we only have 2 cameras today.
Yeah, there we go.
So that's doubling up.
And a whole crowd behind it. And also, thank you so much for being a part of our Think Realty Resident Expert program and helping bring a lot of financial education and awareness to our investors.
Yep. Yeah, thank you for having me on the resident expert side at Think Realty. We're so excited to upload some more educational content on there, so that'll be on there soon.
Yeah, so you guys can kind of check that out when they get on there. They've got awesome education on financial literacy and awareness and opportunities for financial freedom. Yeah.
Cool. I think we're going to call you Tough Question Eddie.
Oh yeah, okay.
I think that's very fitting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tough question, Eddie.
Yeah, it's a tough question.
So you're going to give Ari a tough question.
A very tough question.
Okay.
Maybe about investing in uncertain times.
Okay, I like that. Ari, you're too nice for me to go too direct at you.
Yes.
And that's why he passed that off to me. He was like, I'm not going to ask Ari a hard question. I'm going to Eddie do it.
I can't look in her eyes and ask a stone cold really hard question. Right? Like this.
But I do have more of a difficult question, and the question would be more. I know you guys teach a lot of financial literacy and kind of like this you're here, how do you get to here, and all these undulating pathways to get to success and financial freedom. How difficult is it now when the market seems to be shifting, where maybe some of your message was save more money, spend less on, be more frugal, spend less. I mean, maybe that was part of the equation. And now, inflation and, gas alone is killing people and really just pulling it all out of savings. What's the messaging around that?
Yeah, we definitely are in uncertain times, right? I don't think anyone in the last 1 year saw that we would be here today. Even in the last 2 years, it's just been a crazy one thing after the other, pandemic, wars, what's next? Who knows? And as a new investor, I think it is tough because everything that you've seen before almost doesn't apply. And I think it's really important for people to still stick to the basics of make sure you have emergency reserves, have a good amount of cash or liquid funds available so that you can weather any storm. And then number 2, just lean on to some people who are trusted advisors like you, Abby, and maybe other people in your network, and make sure that you are listening to what's actually happening, because it changes week by week and day by day almost, especially for a big topic right now is rising interest rates. Interest rates seem to be rising 1%. It rose 1% just in the last few weeks, and we don't really know where it's going to go. But there's still something to be said about making sure you know the fundamentals about what you're investing in, and then also keeping those reserves to weather any fluctuations that happen.
Yeah.
What would you say to somebody that's going through this kind of market cycle for the first time? Because there are a lot of young people out there, and they're like, man, we've got this thing going on in Russia, in Ukraine. There's a lot of issues with interest rates at home. Even though our GDP is increasing, it's doing well. What do I do as an investor in this market outside of crypto and NFT? Because every day when I read the Journal and the New York Times and the Economist, all I hear about are NFTs, and I'm tired of it. It's just like, what other options are out there in a evolving market cycle?
Yeah, and I like crypto and NFTs. I have my own crypto and NFTs, so I'm not saying that's not a great investment. I think it's great.
Yeah.
But I think one thing that we've always had in the investment world is real estate, right? Like, real estate is hundreds of years old, and people are always going to need a place to live. And that's primarily where a lot of my holdings is in real estate, because you can at least predict certain areas where population is growing and jobs are growing, so that this real estate isn't going to go anywhere, right? It's not going to be suddenly vacant in the next 10 years. And then also making sure you're buying real estate that has a positive cash flow. And that applies to a lot of things, right? You want to buy businesses that have a positive cash flow. You want to buy real estate that has a positive cash flow. So even if for some reason the values of real estate drop, you're not sitting here thinking that, oh, am I going to lose this property, right? Because you don't have to, because the property pays for itself and then some. And at some point, that real estate value will go up. We just don't know when.
Yeah. If I'm a listener and I'm sitting there listening, I think there's a good segmentation of our listeners that maybe haven't taken action yet in investing. Maybe they have a good job, they've got some money in the bank, they've got some leverage opportunities, they've got equity in their house. You teach this whole elongated strategy from kind of start to finish. Where do you typically start with people that haven't taken action yet in investing?
Right, so the first thing we do talk about is tapping into investment opportunities that maybe they didn't know they have. So most people own a home. And sometimes people just sit on their home and think that, oh, I can't start, I haven't started. But they need to remember, like, one, you actually already bought your home. So you are an investor in some form or fashion.
Sure.
And then number two, a lot of people have lazy money sitting in their homes right now. And with inflation at 7% or more, if you have a 3% mortgage, or even if you can get a new mortgage on it at 4% these days, you can actually put that money into work and invest passively in some of these real estate opportunities. So you can at least start. I think for all real estate investors, if you ask them what's the one thing they would have done better, is probably just to start sooner, right? Buy 1 year sooner, 2 years sooner. So if you can tap into some of that lazy equity and put it to work into something, whether it's a passive opportunity, real estate opportunity, or maybe you buy a second home and Airbnb that, just do something to start, because getting involved is what's really going to help explode your progress, not sitting on the sidelines.
I think it's easy to say, like, so let's just get started, because as you know, that's a whole psychology behind that. Maybe a couple tips on how I can move from an immovable kind of shutdown mindset about these alternative investing strategies, whether it's real estate, whether it's something else, to actually taking action and saying, yes, you can do this. Maybe I need to believe in myself a little bit. What are some of those challenges that you've seen, and how do you overcome those?
I think there's a lot of analysis paralysis when you're starting out. And I had this too. And I think the reason is because there is so much opportunity. There's so much opportunity in NFTs and cryptos and real estate and stocks. There's just so much that people go into it a little bit and then they backtrack. And then they go into one avenue and they backtrack. I think focus on one thing, pick one niche, whether it's going to be single family homes, for long-term rentals, or single-family homes for short-term rentals, or if it's going to be NFTs, right? Just go in 100% on that. If you're like driving, listen to a podcast, listen to a YouTube video, listen to the Think Realty videos online, listen to another episode of this podcast. Every minute that you spend educating yourself gets you more confidence, and it's really the confidence that you lack that's why you're not taking action. So build that confidence bit by bit, and then connect yourself with people who are already doing it, because you can borrow their confidence. You can partner with them, borrow their confidence, their experience, so you know you're not gonna do a bad deal because they've done 100 good deals. So if you partner with them, you can just do a good deal and then do it on your own later.
That's good. It's great advice. I love your journey. I love the story. I mean, I know you and your husband well, and I consider you guys great friends. And but it seems like you started off in real estate, and then now you're broadening out and then helping teach others. Is there any area right now that you feel like is just, man, there's huge opportunity here, and I need to spend more time in it? That maybe somebody looking at it going, real estate, NFTs, cryptos. I heard this whole strategy yesterday on NILs, which is like, like investing in college athletes that can actually it's crazy stuff, but it's like.
And they sign their life away to you.
They sign their, 40 years. Early on, there's this whole strategy of that, but speculation, but it's
great.
It's crazy. But what have you seen, or what gets you excited right now from an investment standpoint?
From an investment standpoint, I really am excited at meeting other great operators, to be honest, at this point. And it almost doesn't matter what they do. It's more I want to meet people like you guys who stand for what they believe in, who are great operators in the sense that you know how to run cash flowing businesses, you know how to operate large organizations that I don't really know right now. And I want to partner with those people and invest with them. Because it's not necessarily the shiny object.
We'll talk later.
We'll talk after. There's so many shiny objects. We need to focus. Focus.
Lots of shiny objects for sure.
Right.
Yeah, you have different groups of people. You got your millennials, you have your alphas, etc. I feel like I fall into a very early
beta.
Beta, I guess beta.
Alpha, beta. I guess. Anyways, go ahead. You're good. I just wondered what category you're falling into.
Oh no, I think I'm like super early millennials. I'm an '84 baby, and I feel like even some of my college friends, they have trouble understanding like just basic financial principles. Some of them are doctors. Some of them are attorneys and lawyers and engineers, and they're like, how do I? Okay, I've got a 401k. So maybe take that person as an example. I've got a 401k. I have some savings. I've been following Susie Orman or Dave Ramsey, which I also like. I think that's more old school. I don't think that's very relevant to new people.
Follow Ari.
Forget
those.
TikTok and Instagram. You don't need Dave Ramsey, Susie Orman. The 6 baby steps don't speak to me. But if you have somebody that's in there, wealthgym.com. What would be like that strategy? You've got a little money. No money. You've got a little money, maybe $50,000 to $100,000. What makes the most sense for that capital, assuming you already know what your investing personality is?
That's a very in-depth question.
It is.
Assuming you know what you want to do, and I usually break it down to 2 things: whether you have a lot of time to invest alongside your money, or you don't have a lot of time to invest alongside your money. If you have time, then it makes a lot of sense for you to actually buy a property, right? Like if your niche is single family real estate, use that $50,000 to $100,000 as a down payment on a property. If you haven't heard of second home loans, you can actually use $100,000 and buy $1 million house. So you can actually buy a pretty sizable portfolio with just $100,000. Now, if you don't have a lot of time, maybe you're a busy professional, engineer, lawyer, doctor, that you work 80-hour weeks in your day job and you have to just passively invest, then find someone who is a good operator in the space you're interested in and just invest passively with them. I promise you're going to learn a lot just reading their reports and seeing what they do, what an experienced operator does with their money, that it's going to be well worth the investment, and also you're going to get a return on that money. You're not going to lose that money because they already know what they're doing.
It's good advice. Great advice.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's vicariously, I mean, like I did that early on, that's none of us come to some level of expertise without somebody else leading the way, right? And so instead of just hoping that it happens, like I love that, like taking intention to make it happen, right? Like go find the person you want to invest with or love how they operate and say, how do we do something together? Like that makes total sense.
Yeah. Today we're actually at the Think Realty event. It's going to happen tomorrow. You guys can't go to this one, but you can go to the next one and meet other people like us.
Sure.
Cool.
Absolutely.
Where can we find more information? How do we interact? How do we engage with you?
Yeah, so you can follow me on TikTok and Instagram. Search the Ariane Lemire, and I'm sure we'll put that in the show notes down below. And also on wealthgym.com is our website. You can see links to my social media profiles on there as well, and some free resources to help you get from where you are now to financial freedom.
That's awesome.
Ari, thanks a lot. This was great.
Awesome,
thank
thank
you.
You got it. Think Realty Nation. That's a wrap. You got any questions? Get in touch with Ari and her team by visiting wealthgym.com. You have questions for me or Eddie, thinkrealty.com/podcast. You can find our information pretty much anywhere online as well. A huge shout out to the sponsor of today's podcast, Alpha Flow. They are a tech-driven investment manager building to connect two of the largest industries on the planet, real estate debt and capital markets. If you're a private money lender interested in expanding your capital to do dynamic things in your regional markets, learn more at alphaflow.com. Until next time, happy investing.